What we're trying to do here is
smoke weed every day.
But on this point about spending, in a speech in November, your Chief Business Advisor, Maurice Newman, pointed out that Labor promised education and National Disability Scheme spending totalling more than $20 billion by the end of the decade. He said that given the economic conditions, that is reckless. You're continuing spending in those areas, so the only logical conclusion is that you are continuing with reckless spending.
Again, these things can be done irresponsibly or they can be done responsibly. Now, if we spend some more money in schools and in the process we ensure much better educational outcomes through more principal autonomy, more community involvement, better teaching methods, stronger curriculum. That's good for the economy. If we invest more money in people with disabilities so that at least some of them can be economic contributors as well as simply social contributors and cultural contributors, that's good for the economy. Now, I accept that if you do these things the wrong way, it can become a terrible drain on the taxpayer. If you do them the right way, they can be important contributions to a stronger economy. And in the end, Lee, this is what we want to do. We want to build a stronger economy so that everyone can get ahead.
Haven't you created a huge budget problem for yourself in that you've quarantined health and education from budget cuts, yet they're the areas of biggest expenditure growth?
That doesn't mean that we cannot be more efficient. What we've said is that the total spending in these areas won't go down. But if we can find a more efficient way of doing things so that money is freed up to do other good things in these areas, well, surely that's a good thing, not a bad thing.
If we can turn to the ABC, you said last week that you would like the national broadcaster to show at least some basic affection for the home team. By that, do you mean for the Abbott team?
Lee, I have every expectation that you will continue to subject people like myself to appropriate levels of scrutiny, and that's as it should be. I was referring to two specific issues. The issue of the Snowden allegations, and the ABC in this case didn't do any investigation of its own. It simply leapt onto something that the Guardian in London or its local variant had come up with, and as I said, it wasn't just reporting them, it was promoting them. I didn't think that was a particularly wise act in accordance with the ABC's charter. The other was these allegations by would-be illegal entrants to our country. Now, if a very serious allegation is being made that Australian naval personnel effectively tortured people, well, you'd think any responsible news outlet, let alone the Voice of Australia, the ABC, would have sought corroboration before broadcasting them. I want the ABC to be fair, balanced and accurate.
Well,
and I don't think either of those things were.
That you wanted them to have basic affection for the home team. Did you overreach with your remarks?
No. I was simply reminding people that the ABC, as far as the wider world is concerned, is the Voice of Australia. Now,
but you either want a fair, impartial and independent news service, or you want an organisation that makes value judgments about barracking for the home team. Which is it that you want?
News services make value judgments every day. You can't avoid value judgments. What we want from the ABC is fair, accurate and balanced reporting, because that's what you'd expect from the news organisation, which above all else is the Voice of Australia.
We've spoken about the pressures on the budget. Do you see any value in continuing to spend millions of dollars on so-called soft diplomacy by the Australia Network, whether the ABC or anyone else runs it?
Well, that's a very fair question, Lee, and that's something that obviously the government may well look at in the weeks and months ahead. But we've had for a long time very serious issues about the Australia Network tender process. Twice the tender process gave that particular operation to someone other than the ABC, and then because of leadership problems inside the former government, the decision was changed, and the audit office itself said that the whole thing was done badly.
But is there value in the service itself?
Look, it's obviously important that we put our best foot forward. Whether that's the best way to do it, whether there aren't other good ways of doing it, that's something that we'll consider in the weeks and months ahead. Is there not an impossible standard being set up for the ABC here, in that in relation to that Indonesian matter you accuse the ABC of getting the facts wrong and doing insufficient checking, yet there's extreme secrecy around the asylum seeker policy and often a vacuum, an information vacuum at the Navy end or at the Australian government end? Lee, the important thing is to stop the boats, and our argument is not with the ABC, our argument is not with the Indonesian government. Our argument is with the people smugglers, and we don't want to do anything that will make it easier for the people smugglers We want to put them out of business forever.
But you also don't want misinformation out there.
And we don't want to do anything that will make it easier for the people smugglers to continue to operate. And that's what the public expect of us, that we will honour our commitment to stop the boats. We've gone 40-odd days now without a single illegal boat arriving in Australia.
Are you at that mission accomplished moment then? Are you saying you have stopped the boats?
No, I am saying that the boats are stopping, but it will be many months before we can declare that this particular issue has been substantially resolved. But I do want to make it crystal clear to you, Lee, and to anyone watching this program, as far as this government is concerned, our borders are always going to be secure. As far as this government is concerned, the way is closed. And that message must go out to the people smugglers and their customers. You will not pass. You simply will not get here.
Today, the Human Rights Commission announced an inquiry into the issue of children in detention. It says there are about 1,000. It already has a view that the detention of children is inconsistent with Australia's human rights obligations. Do you accept that?
I accept that this is a problem caused and created by the former government's absolute failure to secure our borders, and I'm a little disappointed that this wasn't done at a time when the problem was getting worse under the former government, as opposed to the current time when the problem is improving because the boats are stopping. Now, I accept that the Human Rights Commission is not simply there to be an advertising agent for the Australian government, but really and truly, this is a problem that was caused by the former government's border protection failures. Now that border protection processes are improving dramatically, the problem will slowly go away. Let's never forget, Lee, that under the former Howard government, there were no children in detention back in 2007, and I think there was only 3 or 4 adults in immigration detention.
You're now about 5 months into the job as Prime Minister. I'm sure you thought a lot about the job before you had it. What has been the most unexpected thing about it since you've been in it?
Well, it's an extraordinary honour, Lee. It is an extraordinary honour and privilege to be the Prime Minister of this amazing country, and I never cease to be thrilled at just what Australians are capable of.
I'm sure that's none of that's a surprise to you, though. What's been a surprise in the job?
Well, you don't realise just how exhilarating it is to have these opportunities, and sure, there are some heavy burdens as well. Oppositions complain, governments decide. It's much easier to complain than it is to decide, but nevertheless, every day I give thanks to the public of Australia for the honour they've bestowed upon me, and dare I say it, I give thanks to God for the honour that I've been given.
Prime Minister, this will be our last encounter for a long while because I'm off on maternity leave this week. Thank you very much for making time to come in before I disappear.
And I look forward to seeing you in a few months' time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lee.
Smoke weed every day.